extra, read all about it. I am an undercover agent for Mr. Beast. I was completely bought off and paid for by blood money. My credibility is gone. My pants are full of shit, and I have failed the entire internet as a whole. I apologize. Firstly, to everyone who had very high expectations of me. We're talking about the Mr. Beast situation, the Mr. Beast interview, and I got a lot to talk about. It's very interesting. I've waited to address the drama, which is what people have been asking me to do, even in my comments on my videos. I've waited because there's a lot of great videos being made on the situation as a whole that are critical of myself and, you know, basically what happened, and I like watching it. I mean, I don't like watching it like I'm like it's that type. It's not weird. It's more so just, I'm interested to see what people have to say in regard to this. It's not every day you can have a very controversial interview opportunity thing that like this. I mean, it's pretty, I'm just a guy. It's cool. I'm very glad to be a part of this, to be honest. Firstly, I want to go into my weaknesses and sort of addressing the criticism as a whole, just off the bat. People were not happy with the way that I conducted the interview. The interview, by the way, is Mr. Beast came to my house last week, and I asked him a bunch of questions and then edited that video and posted that video, and a lot of people are mad about it. The general overall valid criticism is that I didn't grill him hard enough, and my questions were subpar or corporatized, or I'm not exactly sure. Really, it was just weak. It was a softball, a snowball, whatever people call it. That's the criticism.
That interview is pretty much garbage and does very little to help him, despite being a softball puff piece.
Firstly, I'm not going to make an excuse. This conversation that I had with Mr. Beast was completely deliberate. This is what I wanted to do. This is the exact same thing that I did with Dawson. I didn't push Dawson in any way. If anything, I feel more responsibility now if Dawson gets sued because I didn't push him and I didn't push back, and he kept on sort of spreading things that now are probably, unfortunately, going to cause him some damage in a lawsuit if Mr. Beast actually does decide to sue him, which I like Dawson a lot, and I don't want that to happen. All things considered with your video on Mr. Beast, but having digested it as a critically thinking human being over the last couple days, it appears to be 100% good faith as well. I can confidently say it does not seem like you want to necessarily gain anything from this. You're not a bad actor. You appear to just be honest and
yeah, I mean, we're all monkeys. We will lie if we have to. I mean,
of course.
I just try to be honest, I guess.
But now I have a level of responsibility because I approached the first interview like that. Maybe it emboldened him to say more things that weren't true and believe more people and not fact check things and just start, shoot from the hip. No, it's bad. I apologize. But once again, no excuses. That was intentional. That interview was intentional. And I wanted it to be like that. I tried not to joke too much. My original idea was to have my pistol appendix carried and reveal it to the camera and say, this is for my safety. That's how I wanted to open the interview and do a bunch of bits, not specifically for Mr. Beast. I just have bits in my head that I like to do. And whenever there's a camera, I'm not good at interviewing people, all right? That's really it. That's as shallow as it is. I decided to have a conversation with him. I didn't really have a lot of time to think beyond that. And within the time that I had, that was absolutely 110% my decision, which, my philosophy behind it was, I'm going to let him say what he wants, and this is going to be his form of a response. If he is a hypocrite and people can prove him to be a hypocrite, then so be it. I just don't have the dog in me, the journalistic integrity dog, the genius guy who can remember things that actually matter dog. I have a different type of dog in me, and it's severely deformed and probably brachiocephalic. That's why I have 2 pugs. So yeah, once again, intentional. I didn't mean for it to be bad. I wanted it to hopefully be a meaningful source of information. People could watch the video, see what Mr. Beast had to say, and then they could fact check it themselves or whatever. I didn't intend for this to be the end of the conversation. I didn't go into this with an agenda. I definitely missed a lot of questions, and I definitely didn't push back enough. So I totally get most, like 99.9% of the criticism. Some people are just mean, and I don't like that very much. But I'm reading it. I get it, and it's beneficial to me. So now I'll begin to make excuses for myself, or give you a reasoning in which my priorities were different on this day. I released a video game. It's called Black Pine, and it is so important to me. The team that I work with around that is so important to me. This has been my absolute passion project that I've kept completely under wraps for the last year, along with the candy. Like, these things are so, I just love doing them. I work with my friends. I'm just so incredibly grateful for those things. And it's difficult when we have big events in regard to those things to prioritize YouTube over them. I love YouTube and I'm insanely grateful once again for my platform, but I would like to use it in, sounds ironic after the, the whole fallout from this. I would like to use it in more meaningful ways and things that get me excited. And to be frank, internet drama doesn't really get me that excited. And there's a bit of poetry. I released a video called I Am Retiring on that day, which I talk about the game. And that was meant to hopefully inspire some people at the very least, and at the worst, seem like I'm a massive narcissist idiot who really loves video games and wants to make some games. I'm not really sure. This is not a publisher relationship. This is no investor. It is just me, my own effort and money combined with some people I was incredibly fortunate enough to meet who know way more about all this stuff and mentored me and helped me and have made this all a reality for me. But that video was completely true and poetic that the MrBeast interview was thrown in my lap the day of. It's like, okay, I'm talking about stepping away from this kind of stuff that I'm having difficulty finding meaning in and being impassioned by. And then the literal biggest YouTube drama scoop opportunity ever presents itself. And I chose to fix my bot, my little Python Discord bot in my gaming server where I was in Unity. I spent more time in Unity the day that MrBeast came to my house than I did preparing in any meaningful way. I shouldn't be laughing. This is a very serious thing. Now we know the invalid points and everybody's gone through this. I think it's time to look back and laugh. I've learned a lot, honestly, like in terms of conducting interviews. And just as in regard to this, I've researched it more so. So yeah, game released. I was poetically talking about retiring in a broader, more philosophical sense. And that was so ironic. On the same day in the morning or around noon, I got a text from Jimothy Beast. He said that he might be interested in coming onto my channel, and he talked to his PA for a while. I was like, I gotta restructure the day. They were talking about restructuring their day, and it was so crazy. And I was just like, what is happening right now? This is so weird. I'm about to launch a video game. He said plans might change, not sure. And then a couple hours later, called me announcing that he was getting on a flight and would be at my home in 3 hours. North Carolina is about a 3-hour flight, 3.5-hour flight from there to Texas. And I didn't know if he was going to land in DFW and then drive to me, and it takes a couple hours. I didn't know where he was gonna land. When he landed, it was 15 minutes. It was a 15-minute drive away from where I was, which there's no airports. And I don't know where the he landed. I think he flew a helicopter into a field, or I don't know, dude. Like, I literally don't know what was happening. I didn't have any idea what was happening. It was insane. I'm just a guy. That bitch showed up at 8, all right? A little earlier than I was expecting. I thought he was gonna land at 8 and then drive 2 hours so I'd have a lot of time. I thought we were gonna start the interview at 10. Had my producer John there. He was helping. Producer, you know, he's way more professional, way more talented than I am. But he was helping with like setting up the lights, and I don't know, we were just cleaning my house, literally just cleaning my house. It was so just oompaville style. It was very oompaville style, very just last minute. I actually considered at one point that this is just not even real, and somebody's been fucking with me and got me to give them my address and is like on their way now to kill me, and it wasn't actually MrBeast. That would have been funnier, to be honest. That would have been less of a consequence for me. I love a fight, man. I've any excuse to start blasting. So anyways, once again, I hope you guys don't take that as me making excuses for myself, because I genuinely have no regrets. I did feel a sense of embarrassment the next day reading criticism. I'm like, of course. I feel like I shouldn't have done that or whatever, but I have no regrets. I think I approached it in the moment as fairly as I thought I possibly could, which is once again the same thing that I did for Dawson. So no excuses, no regrets. I really appreciate a lot of the meaningful, more constructive criticism. A lot of people have reached out with resources as well for future interviews, which I don't know. The day of, I was like, I'm never doing this shit ever again. I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk to people. This is like way too much pressure. But now I'm like, okay, maybe there is like a lot of actual genuine meaningful criticism. People actually care about this type of stuff. I should be pushing harder or be more prepared or rehearse questions. I've never rehearsed anything in my life. All right. Somehow I can play the guitar fairly well, and I've never practiced. Obviously, that's a lie. I have practiced very hard, but it's easy to practice. This is a terrible, terrible bit, so I'm sorry. I apologize. So we got the criticism out of the way, day after, etc. And then why Mr. Beast chose me to do this became question for many people, became a point of speculation. Was it because I was paid off by Mr. Beast? That's not true. I was never paid to corporatize his questions. I used my questions, by the way. He didn't have a PR team, as far as I could tell there. He had guys in shorts and t-shirts who were really normal. It was very weird. It was very weird. I just asked questions that I thought would be important and then forgot a bunch and literally called him back the next morning and put those questions in as well. They're at the end of the video. So it's also inconvenient that I left them at the end of the video. I should have interjected them, but I felt like it might break up the flow. So I don't know, dude. There was no flow. It was terrible. Yeah, whatever. There was also a surprising amount of talk of Mr. Beast paying me off. There was even a post talking about how Mr. Beast gave me $250,000 a couple years ago, and how it was a massive conflict of interest, like where I'm facilitating or mediating an interrogation of like Vladimir Putin or like some kind of serial killer or Ted Bundy or something like that. I thought it was Mr. Beast, but okay. Bro's a dork sitting in my living room. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Mr. Beast didn't give me any money, not a single penny. I wish he would have. A company called Creative Juice did a long time ago, but they're no longer involved in my channel in any sense or my businesses or my life in any way. And I'm very glad because I didn't really like that relationship. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, and also if he did buy me and there was like a conflict of interest, what about all these videos where I shat all over him and his stupid Lunchly brand talking about lead and his dumbass business partners? Like, what? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I guess it does make sense if you are really excited by internet drama. Maybe it does make sense, but yeah, to me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I really wanted to ask him if he had seen any of my videos on him while he was sitting in front of me, but I figured people would be like, why are you asking him questions about yourself? You're talking about yourself too much. You're talking about yourself too much. Stop talking about yourself. Talk about the victims. Which I think I also didn't do. So yeah, I went easy on Mr. Beast because that's exactly what I did with Dogpack. And in my own mind, my justification or the way that I was speaking to myself was not, I'm gonna go easy on him. I'm gonna go easy on this guy. I'm gonna try to have a conversation and I'm gonna try to stay on topic and I'm gonna try not to look at him too much. And I'm gonna try to make the right amount of eye contact. I'm gonna try to make sure that I don't have weird body language. And I'm gonna, a lot of people are gonna see this. I'm gonna try to make sure maybe my lights are not the wrong color. And I'm gonna try to make sure, oh wait, it's hot in here. I'm gonna try to make sure that it's maybe 68 degrees instead of 72 because I feel hot. Is my stomach hurt? I'm gonna make sure that I have ginger in my pocket and I'm ready for this. I'm gonna make sure, ooh, do I sound weird today? My voice sounds weird. Am I getting sick? I think I'm getting sick. Oh, am I getting a migraine? Oh no, I might have to take a nap. I gotta make sure that's real. That's legit. So yeah, pretty much I got weaknesses. I knew that. Seems like a lot of people didn't know that. I'm actually honored by how people's expectations were of my video. I mean, I do the bare minimum. I'm like bare minimum guy. It's kind of what I've been known for a really long time. And like, I'm trying to get into a position where I can do that. I can do better. Guess we'll start next time. So now on to some things that I forgot or didn't push hard enough on that I completely agree is valid criticism. Ava Chris Tyson. Didn't push hard enough on Ava Chris Tyson. That is really weird. The reason I didn't push hard on it, by the way, which doesn't make as much sense now, but at the time made perfect sense. I thought that his addressing it via Twitter, I thought it would be more important for me to focus on other things that hadn't yet been addressed because this is the first time Mr. Beast is talking publicly, but that is like one minute, small way to look at it. I definitely should have pushed back more on Ava Tyson or asked more about it, but I didn't have the preparation to handle my own there. I didn't have the receipts. After Ava, I've got to say the crypto stuff. I called Coffee the next morning. I was like, what are some more questions I could ask? I need to ask Mr. Beast some more shit. I forgot to ask about the Shadman thing, which I felt was appropriate to ask. I did ask about that at the very end. I saw a lot of people say that I didn't at all, but they just didn't watch the entire video, and I don't blame them. So crypto, Ava as well, associating himself with Logan Paul. That was one I was kind of punching myself in the face because I've made a lot of videos on Logan Paul. I am not a fan of Logan Paul, and I think he's a massive scumbag. And I think that speaks to, you know, someone with who they surround themselves with. I kind of get surrounding yourself with people who are maybe apolitically, you know, it's justifiable, but Logan Paul is absolutely a piece of shit. So that definitely needs some clarification. I feel like he's a piece of shit, but people get mad that I'm a flip-flopper as well. I'm just trying to understand and be like compassionate, because my mind is always so naturally set on things, and I'm very stubborn. And I've learned over the last couple of years to not be so stubborn, not so much of an iconoclast. I used to be a lunatic rager, just like, you're a dummy, yeah. And then now I'm just like, I want to look at trees for a really long period of time and see what they mean. Which sounds so stupid, but it's true, dude. There's something wrong with me. I don't like Logan Paul, dude, and especially the whole Lunchley thing, defending it with lead. I did bring that up, but I didn't, you know, I didn't push. I should have pushed, definitely. That's probably, if I did have a major regret for the whole interview as a whole, I'd say that's it. Not talking more about Logan Paul. I also missed the online slot machines or getting kids to gamble in regard to Feastables. Also forgot to ask why Delaware had a mask on in a video. Mr. Beast, I think, addressed that with another commentary YouTuber, and his excuse there was that there were videos in which he didn't have a mask on. So I don't really know. He kept him around hiding his face. I really do not know a lot about that one, but I felt that his response to that made sense to me. I mean, if you give him the benefit of the doubt, it's just like a young dumbass guy. I mean, I've made this shitty video. Obviously, I would like to think that I wouldn't make the exact same mistake, but I don't know. And then the Antichrist allegations. Curious. You swear on the Bible, but you didn't know about the Antichrist? Curious. I don't know if Mr. Beast is a demon, but I lied about all the him flying in on a private jet stuff. I actually had a pentagram in the corner of the room, a circle, a salt circle, for a while. That's it. He spawned and he went, he like fucking came up out of, it was red and stuff. It was like a hole and there was like red clouds. And then he had like a bunch of Feastables and stuff. And then I accidentally tripped and stumbled and I knocked the salt out and he got it. He escaped. I accessed a portal to Greenville, North Carolina through the Necronomicon. Basically is what I'm saying. Now on to some more specific criticism, guys, on Reddit. I love Reddit. I'm a big fan of Reddit. And I read criticism, okay? I don't say schizo now because I saw someone that was upset that I said schizo and their reason was good enough for me to decide to not say schizo or to try to say it less. All right, guys. It was a schizophrenic person who was, and I found that on Reddit. And I feel like that was a good thing I learned, where I learned to be more kind about something. But I don't know. Maybe I'm a dumbass. Maybe these people just hate me. I don't know. Maybe these are just haters. There was lots of coverage on my interview on Reddit, and there's a lot of criticism to go over. It was mostly people saying that I don't take the interview seriously because, look at this. I thought it'd be funny to respond to people being really mad at me with just a picture of me looking old. I thought that was funny, and a lot of people seemed like they didn't like it. This guy forgave me. I didn't want to be forgiven. He got downvoted. I just thought it was funny because it's like, what am I supposed to do about it? I fucking suck. What do you guys want me to say? I don't just, yes, you're right. Because that's what I'm gonna say. That's what I want to say. Yeah, okay. So yeah, maybe I was a little silly at first. I apologize. I'm a silly guy. Silly, goofy guy. I should have been more silly in the interview. I also regret that. Maybe I do have a lot of regrets about this. So I was silly off the bat, that is absolutely proven, but there are things to take seriously, that I do take seriously, that are important to me in regard to the situation, not the criticism, but going into it and just in general. I do believe that it's very important to give both sides of any situation a platform or even a platform or opportunity to feel comfortable in talking openly. Obviously, that doesn't exactly affect Mr. Beast because if he really wanted to control the narrative and really feel comfortable talking openly, he could have just posted on one of his mini channels, to be honest, and then he would have been able to, you know, put $1 million into fucking a video, the most ultimate disapproval video of all time. But for some reason he chose. So I thought that was important, though. I do think that is still important. I also don't necessarily think that it's important to identify who the bad guy is. I don't think things are that simple. It's good to know things and it's good to have context and be able to make your own decisions. But I didn't try to be like, well, this is the bad guy. You know, let's talk to the bad guy and let's see really how bad he actually is. I don't think being super black and white is that Responsible? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I should be. I really don't know. But I like the idea of trying to be compassionate and like understanding and open to all sides. Like I'm not pro Mr. Beast now. Like I don't know why. I've made way more negative shit than I've made. I made one interview and there's like a whole like 20,000 people who think that I, for A, sucked his penis, which I didn't. B, he owns me or something. And then C, like I fucking gave him a puff piece, but I didn't feel like it was a puff piece. Was it really a puff piece? I don't know about that. Also, another really important thing for me, getting as many clicks and views as possible and making as much money as I possibly can off it. That's why there were so many Sour Boys ads. I released a fucking video game the day of. I should have promoted that shit. I should have been shameless. Another regret. Once again, on Reddit, there was more criticism in regard to the Creative Juice investment. Yeah, so the whole interview is a conflict of interest. No, it's not. It's not actually a conflict of interest in any way. Well, that's a massive conflict of interest right there. This should have been disclosed at the start of the interview. Imagine if I would have disclosed that at the start of the interview. Like, that is so meaningless, so small and meaningless to me. Like, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of it in any way. Nor have I ever thought of it as like, oh, thank you so much, Mr. Beast, for helping me. Oh my God, thank you so much. I thought, this fucking predatory fintech company is offering to give me money. How can I not hang myself with this rope and rickety stool they just fucking sat in front of me? That's what I was thinking. Jesus. And also, what about all the shitting on him I did as well, guys? Come on. This is the only criticism where I was like, ah. I have a question for Oompa. If he's still here, you just sold a portion of your channel again to fund your gaming studio. Who did you sell to this time? Maybe tag him to be sure he sees this. I sold my channel, a portion of my channel this time to Spotter at a substantially better deal. Literally, there's a reason Spotter's been in business for a lot longer and they've bought a bunch of creators' back catalogs. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought Mr. Beast's back catalog. As far as I know, oh my God, as far as I know, they are not owned by Mr. Beast. Let's see. Does Mr. Beast own Spotter? No, Mr. Beast does not own, but he's a partner with the company. Bruh. Is considered a representative of the value of long-form content in Spotter. Oh, he's part of Spotter's portfolio. Oh, thank God. Okay, so they invested in him. Jesus fuck. Oh my God. Spotter is awesome. They've never given me any feedback about any of my content ever. They don't give a fuck about my content. They use my channel as collateral, and I use their investment to fund my game and fund my candy company and just build the best possible business that I could out of principle, right? Out of principle. We're doing some cool shit, by the way. We're doing some cool shit. Spotter, I don't even want to talk about them in this video because I feel like they're gonna get some shit because of this. I apologize. They don't have any control over anything that I say. Nobody does. I promise. If I fuck up, it's on me. It's on me. It has nothing to do with them. We know how you got a bulk of your money to start your company. It was not through hard work and dedication. It was from a handout. Now you're just another shill backing someone that is shady as fuck. You being a scumbag wasn't on my bingo card for 2024. Oh, Caleb, you could have done at least a couple of minutes of research and been prepared. Yet you just didn't. I don't get why dumb people get famous anymore. Okay, the last part's true. And I agree. But the first part's completely false. It was not a handout. If you call a borderline usurious loan in the form of an investment a handout, then we have drastically different definitions of the word handout. So that's just unequivocally false in every single way, demonstrably false. Also, I didn't back Mr. Beast. I still think he has a lot to answer for. I don't, once again, my agenda was not to end this entire conversation. It was to give him a platform and let him speak in a form of a conversation the exact same way that I did with Dawson. And as for being a scumbag, I don't think I'm a scumbag. I try really hard to be a nice guy, like really hard to be a compassionate guy. And then in regard to hard work and dedication, I absolutely am a hard worker and I am completely dedicated to living the fullest life I possibly can. So that's just all that's wrong, first part, except for maybe being a scumbag. With the definition of handout, I think their definition of scumbag might be sort of confusing. People are also critical of me not picking a side. They say that I swap sides depending upon the direction of public opinion and which way people are leaning. I go with the flow, right? I'm trying to appeal to the most people as I possibly can. I have a difficult time with conviction or principle. In my entire life, this is where all of this criticism has stemmed from, is my lack of conviction in regard to internet drama and politics. So those two things, which like you know, I don't know. Ugh, what a mess. Dude needs to pick a side. I thought he'd chosen Beast, but now he's seen the backlash. He's for the people, dragging Mr. Beast on Reddit. For the people. To be honest, most of the response, it was like 93%, 94%, I think, like to dislike on the interview. I thought it was gonna be closer to 80, in all honesty. I thought it would just be a very controversial thing. You know, I didn't intend to get the criticism that I got, but I knew that it would be very controversial. I knew that a lot of people were gonna be upset. I wasn't sure who, exactly where, but I didn't try to set out with the agenda to pick a side in this. I didn't choose Mr. Beast. I've made a lot of videos negatively about Mr. Beast. I platformed Dawson once again, same thing. I tried not to pick a side. I wanted to hear what people said, and if they could provide evidence for what they're saying, then, you know, that can be a meaningful source of information. I'm a YouTuber though, so it's like, I'm not, you know. I don't really like how Oompa playing this either. I'm sorry. I'm learning. You know, I don't have a PR guy. It's just me. There's also a bunch of TikToks.
Mr. Beast update and people are shocked.
Mr. Beast looks hella fake during this. I saw a lot of that he looked fake, that he's like a Chad and he looked fake. He looked weirder than I thought he would in real life. Like, he just had a weird vibe to him, just like a really rich guy, like a really famous he floated as well. It was so strange. He levitated over to my chair. And then when he got up, there was like melted Feastables in the middle, like where his butt was. So weird. A lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on TikTok, many with excellent points and great, completely valid criticism. Now I will go over the video as if I was not involved in it, and I will give you guys my commentary mindset opinion when actually looking at my computer, when being prepared for a video, when having days to think about a situation. I will tell you exactly what I would be thinking. I will now begin a critique of my own video. If you want to see actual good critiques of this video, this large interview, check out CoffeeZilla's second channel, Voidzilla. Upper Echelon did a video, amongst others. There's quite a few people who covered this in a very fair, very reasonable way and literally everybody gave the exact same criticism. So, you know, I get the point. I understand it, okay? This guy's house looks weirdly like mine. Same Bibles. In all honesty, I was thinking at this point when Mr. Beast touched the Bible that he would burst into flames. So now at this point, I'm more convinced that he could be a human than I thought. How the f can some wet food criticize a f***ing YouTube dude? Dude, last time I checked, nobody liked their cereal soggy anyways. This one's funny. Weird. Did you catch that? Run that in reverse, editors. Mr. Beast said on camera, on the record, that he's not the Antichrist, but a small ghost orb flew past my screen.
Was proving that I wasn't evil or, you know, contrarian to what everyone was saying.
Yeah, I don't want to say this could be demonic in nature, but holy f, we're gonna need to get Sam and Colby on this bad boy here.
I don't want to take the video down because then people are gonna think I'm controlled opposition. I was like, whoa. And then also,
fuck, there's a lot of ghost orbs in this house. I mean, this guy's house must be haunted. It was a bug. There was a bug in my room. There was literally a bug. It was flying all over the place, and it was a little small bug, and it was pissing me off, and I really was mad at it. Now on to the question at 1 hour, 1 minute, and 39 seconds. Are you gonna sue Dogpack? Interviewer / host leans back in chair.
Are you gonna sue Dogpack?
well, you know, there's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true and posting it online.
That's a soy jack moment. I think he's definitely going to sue Dogpack. Genuinely, back to reality, guys. Snap back to reality. It's done being silly for now, for a moment. I don't think that he should sue Dogpack. I tried to make that clear without literally saying, I don't think you should sue Dogpack. You know, I was trying to see what he would say. I was trying to kind of open up a door there potentially to get him to think more about this specifically, other than something that maybe someone would have already asked him about. Are you going to sue Dogpack? I don't think you should sue Dogpack. I don't think Mr. Beast should sue Dogpack. I think that is bad for journalism. Not that I know a lot about journalism. Mr. Beast has a lot to gain from all this, and if Dogpack just made a video apologizing and acknowledging the stuff that he got wrong, and then just stopped propagating things that are completely false, I think that would be way more valuable. And then held also, by the way, Mr. Beast to the valid criticisms. I think that this would be the best way for them to end this feud, these allegations. I think that would be the best way for him to do this. So for everybody saying Mr. Beast chose me because it was the easiest layup, the easiest dub, it absolutely is not. The best one is for him to have a conversation with Dogpack. This should have happened months ago. And also put a video up on his channel. He should have done that as well and just gone through, if he could prove all this stuff wrong, he should have done it using his resources in a way that no one could touch or you know, like this doesn't seem like conspiratorially it's this massive cover up or this big thing. It just seems bad. Just seems bad to me, you know, given all the criticism. Who should I interview next? I actually have a really cool interview in December that I'm very excited about. That, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. And I feel like the criticism from this video directly applies to some of the cool stuff that I planned on doing after my video game launched, which is dumb. Maybe I should have planned on being more awesome on YouTube before that. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate criticism. Some of it hurt my feelings and some of it really rang true. Just in honesty, like, I love reading hate. I don't like reading hate comments. I like reading criticism. I like trying to break myself down and learn and evolve and adapt and grow, whatever the fuck. So I hope that, you know, we can keep this up for as long as possible. Not the Mr. Beast internet drama shit, but just having fun on YouTube and learning. So if you're interested in my video game, it's called Black Pine. You can wishlist it now. We have a demo out. It is heavily inspired by Phasmophobia, Lethal Company, games like that, but with a really cool twist of mystery that we have interesting and big plans for. I really love that whole process, and I'm absolutely committed to making that the best thing that I can. And, you know, if it falls short, oh well, criticize it. That's totally fine. Also, I have a candy company called Sour Boys. If you go to sour.gg, you can buy some candy, and I guarantee you that supporting Sour Boys and sour.gg is the best way to spend money if you're going to be supporting any YouTuber in regard to a product. Currently, we don't make any profit. I haven't taken home a dime of money from the candy company until this point. Everything is reinvested. We just bought a new packaging machine. It's called the Sigma Doi. It's really fucking cool. I'm so excited about that. That'll be here next week. I actually stayed up till 12 o'clock last night on the phone with a guy. Like, this shit is so important to me, dude. I'm so grateful to be able to live this life. And, you know. So, also, Sour Boys does not have moldy cheese in it, which is a big W. And I actually know about lead as well. I know about lead contaminants, unlike Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI. They're all fools and shouldn't be associated with food in any way. And that's my opinion. But yeah, I've got to be nice though. And of course, people can be associated. You shouldn't be able to you shouldn't have to live a terrible life in order to be, you know, we shouldn't gatekeep food products, should we?